intermediate guitar player that's been stuck at the same level for some time, then this lesson is 100% for you. I'm going to show you the tricks of the trade when it comes to adding licks in between chords. So you're going to want to stick around to the very end for this lesson. All right, one way that you can break out of the box and break out of your plateau is by learning how to play a chord or a triad and then play a lick in between and then land on another chord. This is something I call a chord lick chord idea. It's just a chord transition lick. It's one of the best ways to start leveling up and looking at your fretboard more like a professional guitar player. Before we get into this lesson, make sure you grab the free tab. It's a PDF. You can grab the link from the description below or above right here. Let's jump into this lesson, but first, don't forget to grab the free tab PDF so that you can follow along. The link is in the description below. So, we're in the key of E major for this entire lick. So I'm basing the first part out of an E major off of the A shape, if you know your cage system. So I'm right here, I'm going boom, just like this, all right? So I'm doing like 1, 2, 8. So a down, up, and then I immediately go into pattern 1 of C sharp minor. That's the relative minor for E major, or you could call it pattern 5 of E major pentatonic, okay? So we're here, and then I go. So what's happening right here is I'm playing a bit of a longer phrase, okay? So a chord and then a transition idea is you got to be able to go 1, 2, like play a chord and then a lick and then land back on another chord. So here's what I'm doing here. I'm starting out with the chord, all right? This is like tricks of the trade, so you got to pay attention here. So you got E, and then I'm playing a lick out of pentatonic. So 1, 2, 1, 2, and then I go. And this is like a G sharp dominant 7th. This is 11, 10, 11. If you have the tab, you'll be able to follow along right away. So here's what I'm doing. 1, 2. And then I land on the downbeat of a chord. So let's go through that lick. So 1, 2, and then I do the lick. 9 to 11, 9 to 11, 9 to 11, slide, glissando, 11 to 13, back to 11, pull off to 9, 11, 9, and then I land on the G sharp dominant 7th chord right here. So I'm 1, 2. So why does that work? 1, 2, and then I played a lick. So 1 and 2 and then I did 2 beats of a lick to finish that first measure, and then I did a 4 measure phrase. So I went 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and then I landed and I did the same rhythm, right, to keep it kind of musical, right? We got to keep ideas musical. We call it a motif. So now the next part of this lick, all right? So after you land on the dominant, you got this. Notice this 13 to 11 and then pull off to 9, all one move. So after the dominant 7th chord here, this G sharp dominant 7th, notice I do the exact same rhythm as I did on the E to start out the lick. So there, and then here, you have to keep things kind of repetitive so that it draws the listener in, right? Can't be totally random the whole time. So this 11th fret G, after that dominant 7th, we go up to the 12th fret G, slide 12 to 11, pull off to 9, right? And then 11th fret of the D, so, and then to the 9. So that's a little vibrato on that 9, and then 9, 11, 9 here on the D, and then 11 on the A, quick slide to 9, right? And then we go 7 on the A, and then 9 to 7 on the E. So I'll play that dominant 7th piece. Just like that. I'll do it again. And you can repeat that as many times as you want if you scroll back, right? So, and then I go up from 7 to 9, and I land on a C sharp minor 7th chord right here. So it's like a minor bar chord, but with no pinky. So there's your minor bar chord, E minor shape, just get rid of the pinky. Just like that, all right? So let's review everything up to this point, just so the lesson is complete. So 1, dominant 7th, and then we slide 7 to 9, C sharp minor, and then we go like this. So I would do the same type of rhythm again. And then I went 9 to 11 on the A string, 9 to 11 on the D, and I bar 9 and 9 for a double stop lick on the D and the G. And I strum both of those, hammer onto the 11th fret of the D. And then I play the 11th fret of the A, and I slide down. I kind of like to go the hammer on here, 9 and 9 on the D and G, hammer on here, and then tilt the ring over to the 11th fret A, so I can slide down to play this A major bar chord, which I'm not actually barring. I'm actually just playing it 5, 7, 7, 5, 6, and let these upper strings ring, the E and the B ring open, so I don't even have to bar because I like that sound. So let's go back and go from the dominant 7th chord again. C sharp minor, and then I go 9 to 11 and 9 to 11 again. So I'm sliding 9 to 11 on the A, and then I'm going 9 to 11 on the D, and I'm barring 9 and 9 on the D and the G, and I hammer onto the 11th fret of the D. That's a double stop lick. Right out of E major pentatonic again. And then I reach my middle finger over to the 11th fret of the A string, and I slide down to this open A major bar chord, right? So it looks like a bar from this angle, but I'm just playing the A major bar, but I'm not barring the first and the second string here. All right, so that's, so from the dominant 7th again, just so that makes sense. And then I play the A again, and then I do this little, so I did it with my fingers if you want to try hybrid stuff in the intro, but you could go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 on the first 3 strings, and you'll see it in the tab, all right? So up to that point, what have we got here? We've got a chord for 2 beats, and a lick for 2 beats, and then a lick for a full 4 beats, so a full measure. So that's our phrasing. You got to keep that template in mind. So it's like 1, 2. That time I did it with the pick, but you could go, if you're looking to advance your like hybrid thing, you can do ring, middle, pick, ring, middle, pick. So there's that idea. Okay, so now that's the main idea. Okay, so that's the main idea. So then the next thing you can do is you can go to E major and you start it all again, but we're gonna change it just ever so slightly. So you noticed I harmonized the lick this time. So I went. So I did the same exact move, 9 to 11, 9 to 11 on the D, except for I played 9 and 9 on the D and on the G and the B, and then I did 11 and 10, and then I slid up to 12 on the middle finger, and then 13 on the G. So I went, slid it all the way up. And then I slid that back and pulled off to 9 and 9. So I went. And that double stop, let's review that again. 9 and 9 on the G and the B. And then I did 11 and 10 on the G and the B with my ring in middle. Slid up to 13 and 12. Back to 11 and 10. And then I pulled off to 9 and 9. So just the exact same way, except I harmonized the riff now. All right. All right, it's something you can do to add some texture to your playing. All right, so now all I'm doing is going, the rest of the lick is literally verbatim the same, except for the very last, second to last measure. So here's what we've got. All verbatim there, except for that harmonized part. And then we slide it to the C sharp minor. Now, this is the only part we changed. We did a more of a Hendrixy thing. So we went, after we did the C sharp minor, we did 9 to 11 on the A, 9 to 11 on the D, and then we barred 9 and 9 on the G and the B, just like we did the first time. But now, instead of doing just one hammer on and then sliding down from 11 on the A, we do a hammer on and pull off. All right, the trick here is, can you get from this 11th fret of the A down to this open A smoothly? And believe me, it took me a few tries to get it right in the intro. So you got to be able to go, that's tricky. And then it's, you end on that E there. All right, so So that whole thing, again, hopefully it makes sense, all right? The framework is really the key here. A chord, a lick, and knowing how much time you have to play in between the lick and the chord, or the chord and the next chord, I should say, and then being able to land it and make it sound smooth and very, very musical, all right? I did literally nothing in this entire lesson except for go from E major, and then I did major pentatonic pattern 5, right? And then I went back to another chord that you're familiar with, either the C sharp minor or the A, right? All right, so now the simple other thing I did was when I slid up to that 12th fret, I just went into pattern 1 of the E major pentatonic, just a little bit. But all I did was take the pattern that you're the most familiar with and put chords in front of it and at the end of it. So I'll play it again just to review. Okay, so let's put a bow on this thing so you can wrap your head around exactly what I'm teaching you here so that you can start to incorporate it into your own playing and you can break through that intermediate plateau on your own. Or if you need some help from me, make sure you send me an email and I'll show you how to do this in my next level coaching program. So check this out. You got to know your chords first. What chords did I play? I played E major, G sharp dominant 7th, C sharp minor 7th, and then to an A. But the next thing you need to know is how much space you're going to put in between. So what I did was E, so 1, 1, 2, and then I went, and that was the rest of that measure. So that's one measure, 1, 2, and then I did 1 and 2, 3 and 4, and I did a whole measure worth of a lick. And then I landed on a chord, and I kept that same framework. So I did a chord, 2 beats of a lick, 4 beats of a lick, chord, 2 beats of a lick, 4 beats of a lick. And that's how I followed up this entire thing. Now you can change up how long you want your phrase to be, no matter whether you want it shorter or whether you want it longer. When you're first starting this type of thing, you really want to keep in mind that you want to keep the phrases shorter. On this one, I did it a little bit longer, just to kind of draw you guys in and get you to listen and follow all the way to the end so that you can have something cool to play. So if you like this lesson, please give me a subscribe, give me a like, share this with somebody else that you think might be interested in this type of stuff. Once again, it's my goal to help intermediate guitar players blast through that plateau that you kind of get stuck in. If you're interested in all and serious about breaking through your intermediate plateau and just getting to the next level of fretboard freedom and being able to play as fluently as you want all over the fretboard, click the link below and you can apply to be one of my next level coaching students, all right? This is a serious program for serious students who are ready to put in the work and practice. So that link is below as well. Also, you can grab the tab for this. I'll see you in the next lesson.